What's up, everybody? It's Cash Flow Nexus, your favorite chart analyst, back again, give you the latest and greatest updates on the charts. And today is an educational session on how to trade crypto using Ichimoku and how to identify support and resistance with Ichimoku and without Ichimoku. So, a lot of you been saying that y'all want to learn my style and how it's uses how I use it. Not just that, I also want to show you guys that it is possible to trade and do technical analysis with cryptocurrency. So I want y'all to learn how to be self-sufficient and not always rely on somebody for technical analysis. So if you are interested in learning how to trade, definitely tune into this video and subscribe, because I will be having more content on that as well. That being said, so support and resistance is the basics of trading. It's very fundamental, and anybody that does technical analysis will say that it's something that every beginner should learn and have in their repertoire of trading. So that being said, let me go ahead and show you what support and resistance is. If you have a pen and paper, definitely take notes. I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to do different currencies so you could see it, and I'm going to use it with Ichimoku and without Ichimoku so you could identify on your own. I just use Ichimoku because it's easier to identify and it's for beginners pretty much, and also advanced traders. It helps you with your technical analysis with analyzing the market a lot quicker than normal. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and see what resistance and support is. So resistance, take notes, a zone or price level where selling demand exceeds buying pressure, where price stops or potentially reverses. So as you know, when you do see a market, the whole market is made up of these levels, and it's up to people to identify these levels. And I will get into that in a second and show you how to identify them without Ichimoku first, and then I'll show you with Ichimoku how fast it is to identify it. Support now is a zone or price level where buying demand exceeds selling pressure, where price stops or potentially reverses. All right, so we have both definition of what a resistance and a support is. To let you know, there are two types of support and resistance: the dynamic and static. Dynamic support and resistance is levels that move. So as price is moving, you see it bounces off like moving averages. Those will be your dynamic support and resistance levels. Anything that is like the 50 moving average, Ichimoku, the Kijun, and the Tenkan-sen, Bollinger Bands, those are considered dynamic support and resistance levels. If you are not familiar with those other moving averages or indicators as well. And static support and resistance are levels where it stays constant, it's flat. I'll show you the difference between the two and when we go along in this video, so bear with me. So let's go ahead and remove this. Hope you guys got that down. So we're going to start off without using Ichimoku first so you can see the difference in what it looks like. So here we go. So you want to zoom out when you are trying to identify support and resistance levels. And the best way to identify support and resistance levels are an indicator called fractals, which they lay out the market. Hold on, let me go ahead and zoom in and show you what a fractal looks like. Let's see. So right here, these black dots, arrows, whatever you want to call them, these are considered fractals. All right. So let's go ahead and zoom out. So whenever you see a cluster of them, that's an area that you would want to look at. But to really identify support and resistance levels, you want to identify and see if a level has been touched multiple times. So you want to at least go 3 to 6 years back in the past, or months back in the past, depending on what you're trading. So let's see this. So if we're trading it like this, we could identify support and resistance very quickly by putting a line through this level. You want to identify levels that have been at least touched 3 to 4 times. 2 times is kind of risking it. You want to see that level be tested more than once. So here's a perfect area. You have a touch here, 1, 2, 3, almost touch here, which is very close. And I'm going to let you know that support and resistance, it's not exactly a line, it's a zone. I'm going to show you in a second. So you got a touch here, here, here. All this level has been touched from back in the past. Here it's been touched, and here you see it has broken through. It's like wavered through. So now we're going to zone it, because you can see that's a big zone. So I'm not gonna do that. You could do that, but I'm not gonna do that. That's too much. Let's go right here. Nope, right there, perfect. So if you do notice, if we look at it, ooh, there we go, perfect. You see that this area has been tested as well. This whole area has been played as support, mainly support, because we know this crypto has been on a downtrend. Here it played as resistance. If price is below that area, this would be considered resistance until it breaks above, and you see it did break above, and now it played as support right here. So let me go ahead and show you guys right here. That area has to be tested multiple times for it to be even considered. So right here, the market played as a resistance. There we go. So here it was a resistance. Here it acted as a support. To even be considered a support or resistance, so we do know that this acted as a resistance back in the past, back in December of 2017. So when it came back down to test where it broke out. All right, check that out. So it did hold pretty strong, as we see here, because it rallied back to the upside. But here's the thing, to be considered a support right here, as we see, the market had to test multiple times here, as you see. Boom, tested once, tested twice, 3 times, and it was held pretty solidly, and you see that it went up. In this area, what is known as a double top is where you can find the pattern where it makes some form of a W shape, and then it moves to the upside, as you see here. Made it at W, then moved up. So that's one area that we could consider a support and resistance level, or you could zone it just like this. So, and you see here it acted as support as well, this zone, in this zone here. All right, so this is why you want to zone areas and not just put lines, because these areas allow you to know that it could go even further down, or because right here you see it went in. This one touched all the way to the bottom and broke it. See, but it did the same here, touched the bottom and broke. But it never really, was a clean break. As you see here, it made wicks. So let's zoom in there. It made wicks. It broke out, but it immediately reversed back up to the upside, saying that the market's going to, continue to the upside. So let's go ahead and zoom back out. Where's another area that we could identify? Let's see. Boom, right there. Touches in here, touches in here, a touch here, and touch here. So we could zone this area as well. So let's go ahead and do that. About right here. So we don't need this line anymore. And you could always adjust it however you would like. So you see it held here, touched at the top. So it acted as support right here too, acted as resistance right here, acted as resistance right here, support a little bit in this area, support right here. Now it's acting as a resistance right in here. So we know if price does get back to this 49 cents to 50 level, that is going to act as a resistance. And if it breaks that, then it'll be a support. So we know that in this area, we have support. We have resistance right in here. And we are sitting at right underneath resistance currently for this market. So now to identify another type of support and resistance, which would be trend lines. So a trend line, as you can see if you zoom out, this would act as support and resistance as well. So when you look at it and zoom out at the bigger picture, you could tell that this area has been tested. This line has been tested on more than one occasion. You have one touch, two touch, three touches. So this is showing that this market has been in a downtrend and has continued in a downtrend. So we could have a push further down to lower prices for this asset right here that I see. All right. This will be your resistance because its selling pressure has increased. And you see that this is support where buying pressure increases, and you see it is moving up. So we know that this line is going to act as a support when it comes back down and touches this level. So say if this asset comes back to 13 cents, this will be an area where you would look to buy into this market. All right. Now, if you want to see it like this, you always got to get the bigger picture. This could also act here as well. Let's see. Well, we could do that. Interesting. We could do this too. You always want to line it up with the fractal levels. So right here would be interesting, but I don't like that too much, but you can do that. Looking at it, you can do that, but I don't like it I see some people do this. Me personally, it doesn't make sense to do something like this. This is what you want to avoid. It's just sloppy and it doesn't really line up with anything. I don't know why people always want to make up lines and stuff. I do see that quite a bit in the market. Now you could do it like this here because we did get that break here. This would make more sense. You don't always want to line it up with fractals when it comes, because it would look sloppy, and that's the case that we got. Now here would be cleaner. This was a little bit cleaner, and you see that it broke to the downside. So we might come back up and test, probably at this level, maybe here. But it looks like it's a clean drop at this point for this asset. So this is what you would consider. So what I've shown you so far is static support and resistance. So it doesn't really change. Like even if price goes to 1,000 for this asset, this will still remain a support and resistance that is a trend line for this. All right. So So that's it. You could say that it's invisible to the eye, but that's why you have fractals to help you line up the market how you need to line it up. All right. So now we're going to throw Ichimoku on. And this helps you identify support and resistance quick. So these flat areas of the cloud is what you want to look at. All right. All these flat areas. So whenever you see the Kumo cloud of the Ichimoku system turn flat, go ahead and mark it with a line. All right. Boom. You don't have to, and you don't want to make too many lines to where it's like your chart is just ridiculous to look at. You want to have at least, 4 lines in relation to price. All right. And what I mean by in relation to price, so if price was right here, you would definitely want to have a line right here and here. So these will be my 4 areas that I would be looking at. All right. So this is also static support and resistance as well. If you zoom out, even without having to look back in the past, if you zoom into here, you could see that these areas been tested multiple times, as you can see. Boom. And it shows to be true that these flat areas are strong areas of support and resistance. You see it right here as well. We move further along. You see it's been touched here. You see it's been touched here multiple times. Touched here multiple times. So we do know that these areas are good areas of support and resistance. Now for our dynamic support and resistance lines. All right. These would be your Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen. Your blue line, your Kijun-sen, your red line, your Tenkan-sen. So you could put it on the flat line as well, which it lined up perfectly with this Kumo flat top. So that flat line here, boom, right in here. The Kijun-sen also acts as a great level of support and resistance as well. It's actually a stronger support or resistance for the Ichimoku system. Now, when I say dynamic, let's go ahead and look right in here. As you see right in here, also the Kumo cloud acts as a dynamic support and resistance as well. So you see here that price bounced off of Kijun-sen and it moves up to higher prices. This lets you know that this is also a dynamic area, a dynamic support right here that you go see. So it bounced off here, made its way to the upside, and then it right here, price was acting as support here, moved up higher, and it just ranged in here, and then it broke support of the Tenkan-sen and moved back down to the Kijun-sen as a support. So you see that this whole area was support and resistance, but it was dynamic because it was moving. If you move on over, you can see that the Kumo acted as a resistance or acted as a support in this area. It bounced off here and had price action, making a piercing line pattern, moving up higher. So once it broke this box, price moved up higher. And I will get into price action another day, but what you wanna look at, what you wanna do when it comes to support and resist, how to trade it, you wanna look for price action. And that's gonna help you out with finding and identifying if you want to get in. So that'll be another topic for another day, but that's what you want to look out for when it comes to these levels here. All right. So let's go to another cryptocurrency. Let's go with one that I'm gonna pick one that I don't really even trade. It's VeChain. All right. Same thing applies. All right. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's go ahead and mark this area. Let's go ahead and mark this area. And one more area. Let's see what's a good one right here. So if we look back in the past at these areas, we could see that right here, if we zone it, price, respected this area here. So this whole zone here, if you see, it touched in here, touched in here, touched in here, kind of broke through but rejected. So that would have been a good selling opportunity. Kind of played in here a little bit. Let's move on over. Touched in here as well. Touched here. So this is a good area of support and resistance. Let's see. Let's zoom out. I don't even like this. What currency is this? V chain? Man, I've done analysis for this once because someone recommended, but man, this is something else. Looking at it again. Why did I do that? Okay, let's go ahead. Boom. Okay, right here. So you see it touched in this area, played in this area. Let's keep on zooming out. Played in here, touched right here. And you see that it bounced off a dynamic support right here. If you take this line off, if you look back in the past, that this area played, this Tinkinson played as a resistance level, dynamic resistance, having price bounce off and moving further down. So you could have got in just based off of that. Let's go ahead. Let's see. Let's put this line back on. So it touched in here. Let's go back even further. You see that this same line, this Kumo line, played its role back in the past. So this area is a strong area of support and resistance. What likes to happen more? Looks like buyers, now that the market's a little more mature, it looks like, buyers like to enter this market. You see buyers enter in here, buyers entered in at this level, buyers entered in here and then dropped. Buyers entered in again here, buyers entered in here. Back then, this area, it broke through this. So it acted as a support at one point, broke through and acted as resistance right here, pushed prices down. Acted as resistance here, pushed price down. Then you got your dynamic Kumo cloud right here acting as a resistance as well, and you see that it bounced off the cloud and pushed price even further down. So Ichimoku is very reliable when it comes to support and resistance. One more thing that you could do as support and resistance, let me go ahead and do this because this green line is very underrated. So if I take off everything here, this green line follows price to the T. All right. So when you see that, what you could do, you could put a line on these sharp edges. When the edge is sharp, not like, rounded like you see here in this area, I wouldn't really want to put it in this area because this area doesn't show me very much strength. So you want to get these sharp areas like right here. So you could zone this area if you really wanted to. So you could put one here. Let's go with here as well. And we'll go with one more. Let's go with right here. So if we look back in the past at these lines, you see this area was very much respected quite a bit. So you could have entered in selling positions once it broke in here and moved down. This area too, right here, you see it's touched multiple times. Let's move further back. You can see right here, touched. This level, this one's probably going to be a new level of support and resistance. It did touch a few times in the past, right? As you can see here, it touched here, touched here. So that's already 3 touches. Here as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's another one. Break here. It broke here. So yeah, these are all very good areas of support and resistance, as you can see. Let's see, remove drawing tools. I'm gonna go over one more, and I'm gonna show you how I would trade it if I was to trade it, and I'm gonna use Bitcoin as an example. All right, for the final one. And usually you want to mark up, I want to say this because you want to usually mark up your support and resistance on a daily time frame, because when you move down to the lower time frames, you'll get a better understanding of what it looks like in the overall market. So let me go ahead and put the full system back on. There we go. So we already know that Kijinsen acts as a support and resistance, so you could mark it, bam, so here would be a level, and you want to make it blue too, so it stands out amongst all the other areas. So right here, boom, right there, there's one. Let's see, 2. This flat part of the cloud, you see it handled pretty well, this flat area, bam. If let's say this, because you think, skeptical, let's zoom back. Let's zoom back to right in here. So you see this flat area, right? It's still flat. If we play it, it respected it. So this is not skeptical. There's nothing that's showing us that it's a lie. You could trade these markets. You just got to know what to look for and how to look for it. And I think that's what people don't understand is, how can I trade something that's so new? And it's just understanding levels. All right. If you have an understanding of the levels, then you could trade this. You could trade any market, and you just got to understand what to look for. All right. So that's already shown that. Oh yeah, that's Kijinsen. Okay. Let's see. I'd like to use the flat parts of the cloud more so, because those are proven levels of support and resistance. I don't typically use the Chiku span only because it's it's just flat here. It's not that great. Excuse me. But you see that this area is proving itself, but right here, it's mainly because the cloud is acting as the resistance. You don't get that until the candle closes. This follows the price. This is not gonna, give you all the answers. That's why I follow the cloud more than I follow, Chiku span. And you could also do it without it, but I prefer to do it this way to mark the charts a lot faster. Let's see here, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the lower time frame, so you can check it out, because even the lower time frames have support and resistance levels that of its own. So you got to understand what market to trade. If you want to trade the daily time frame, you don't really want to go too far down, because you'll get mixed signals, and that might confuse a lot of people. I'm gonna show you. I think this is pretty good. So we'll go down to the 4-hour time frame. We're gonna check and see what it looks like down there. Oh man, I forgot that I did not delete that. Hold on a second. So let's go ahead and do this. I could make that yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so let me go to the 4-hour time frame, because I could also teach y'all here too, because I already have this marked up for a while. See, you see that it acted as a resistance right here, and then it put selling pressure increase, push price down, buying pressure increased at this line, pushed up, then it bounced off the cloud as a dynamic support, boom, pushing it higher. So it's good to know these patterns as well, because if you could identify patterns in the market, you could take trades off of these support and resistance levels too, and get better results. Let me go ahead and delete this. So much. All right. So we already see that the 4-hour time frame has its own support and resistance level. You see here, here's a support area off the flat cloud. So if we want, we could zone this because it did move a little bit lower. See this flat part? It's flat part to flat part. So boom and boom. So this whole area support. Don't think of support as just a line. Think of it as a area that you could look at. It's a box. It touched the top of this box, as you can see, but this one also touched below the box, touched right on the bottom of the box, in the middle of the box, moved up. So you have to also realize that's what the market does as well. All right. So let's go back to the daily time frame. Daily support and resistance was always going to be stronger than the lower time frame support and resistance as well, just to let you know. So let's go ahead and throw it in there. I hope you guys are following this. It's kind of weird talking to myself too, making this recording, but I hope it makes sense to you guys as well. Let's see. So now that we have the daily support and resistance on here, you see that it, kind of held out true. And right here, it made the 4-hour made its own broke resistance. Because if we look here, I'm gonna make this line red now so you can see. Let's go to the highest point of there we go, right there. If we go to the daily time frame, let me show you. That 4-hour candle was this right here, making a wick and pushing price down. Everything, if you use these charts in conjunction with another, you see how the market moves, because it was just this level. Because you got two different signs here. That's why you got to be patient when it comes to trading. Because look, at this level, most people would have bought in right here. But if you did not wait for that next candle, you might have gotten screwed over and then taken a loss. You could have taken this trade down to, down. And if you were to trade the whole thing, let's just say you did take the whole trade. That was almost a 10% gain. You're looking at 9.76% of a trade right there. Only because you knew that this area was a level of resistance. How could we have figured that out on the daily time frame? Well, let's look back in the past. All right, so if we look here, we do see some flat clouds, so we know that we could move it to this level. All right, it still went up a little bit, but eventually it came down. So if we look at the 4-hour time frame again, we got it right there, just went up slightly above. So that's why you got to understand that the support and resistance, you got to really understand how it works and how it follows with the market, the structure of the market. All right, let's see. So let's zoom out. This was a Kijinsen on the daily time frame. Boom. See how it shows on the 4-hour time frame? Boom, on the 4-hour time frame. Look at this. You could adjust it to your liking. Like you could even move it down here because it did touch as well. Or you could zone this area from where it was. So let's see, right there to right here. Boom, you got a zone right there. If you don't want to box it, you could do something like this. And you could understand that also plays as support and resistance as well. Let's see, if you move further back, in this area, it did the same thing. Same thing here, same thing here. This was acted as a support, and this was the red line from the daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame. The market gives you clues. You just got to learn how to find them. All right, with support and resistance. That's the first thing that you have to learn, is how to identify support and resistance levels. All right. I use Ichimoku just because it's faster and I get to identify it faster than normal. Remove all that. So I could analyze multiple charts quicker just using support and resistance. All right. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that y'all got a basic understanding of support and resistance. Let me know what you think in the comment section on this educational video. And if you liked it, share it, like this video, and give me a thumbs up. All right. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys, and stay tuned for the next. Peace.